Good afternoon. This is the Saturday between Good Friday and Easter Sunday, and you might be wondering, what do we meditate on? What do we do with Holy Saturday? Here's a bit of food for thought from Matthew's Gospel, verses chapter 27 and 28, which uh, you can think what was happening on that day after Jesus was crucified in Jerusalem outside the city gates, buried in the grave of Joseph of Arimathea in that garden tomb before he rose early that Sunday morning, resurrection day. Well, listen for Matthew 27, verses 62 to 66 to get the story started. The next day, that is after the day of preparation, so that's the Saturday, that would be today in the calendar, the chief priests and the Pharisees gathered before Pilate. So the religious leaders gathering before the Roman governor of this region, Pontius Pilate, and they said, "Sir, remember how that impostor, speaking of Jesus of Nazareth, remember how that impostor said while he was still alive, 'After 3 days I will rise.' Therefore, order the tomb to be made secure until the third day, lest his disciples go and steal him away and tell the people, 'He is risen from the dead,' and the last fraud will be worse than the first." So Pilate said to them, "You have a guard of soldiers. Go make it as secure as you can." Okay, that's the direct order, a military order. Take armed guards and go make it as secure as you can. So they went and made the tomb secure by sealing the stone and setting a guard. They sealed the stone in such a way that it couldn't be tampered with, it couldn't be moved. It was officially Roman edict, and a guard was posted there throughout the night. Fast forward into Matthew chapter 28, verse 11 and following. After Sunday morning, the resurrection happens. The disciples begin witnessing to people. The soldiers who were at the tomb would have witnessed something glorious and beautiful, and you can read that in some of the other gospel stories, but for the sake of time, here's their response. While they were going, behold, some of the guard went into the city and told the chief priests all that had taken place. And when they had assembled with the elders, those are the Jewish elders of the temple, and they had taken counsel, they gave a sufficient sum of money to the soldiers. Okay, they bribed them, they paid them off. Business as usual, right? And they said, "Tell people this version of the story. Jesus' disciples came by night and stole him away while we were asleep. And if this comes to the governor's ears, Pilate's, we will satisfy him and keep you out of trouble." So they took the money and they did as they were directed. And this story has been spread among the Jews to this day. I mean, these were uh, just so you know, a Jewish writer, Matthew, his name is Levi. He doesn't get much more Jewish than that. He's saying that among those who don't believe, one of the excuses they would say is that Jesus' body was stolen from the grave. Now, I'm just wanting to encourage us on this Saturday between Good Friday when Jesus was crucified and Easter Sunday, resurrection morning when he was risen from the dead. Something happened on Saturday. It was business as usual for the people as far as they could see. They were trying within human means to reinforce their unjust actions against this righteous man, Jesus. There were every effort made, humanly speaking, with guards and a seal upon the tomb. And then when their methods failed them, they continued to use human methods to try to solve the problem and remedy the ugly situation. Bribes, lies, and paying off people in important positions. Let me encourage you on this Saturday, Holy Saturday, not to go about business as usual. If you're telling yourself excuses or being dishonest with yourself about who God is or who you are, um, this is a day to take stock. This is a day to evaluate. This is a day to prepare yourself for the greatest news the world's ever heard on Easter Sunday. Don't do business as usual. Don't let the things of the world and the allurements of money and success and impressing other people in power stop you from getting right with the risen Christ. Let's prepare ourselves well on this Saturday for the great day of Easter Sunday tomorrow. And I hope that you might consider joining us if you don't already have another option as Living Hope Church worships together, first with our Zoom meeting and then with our uploaded videos to YouTube. God bless you and have a wonderful rest of your Holy Week.